Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So we have completed a couple of videos for the Terraform series. So this video, which I'm going to talk about, so how we need to search the Terraform code in Google. So basically, if you want to write a code for the Terraform to deploy or provision any services in AWS or different cloud vendors. So I'll go with AWS. Then how I'll show you how we need to search basically how we are going to get the code from Terraform if you want to deploy any services. HashiCorp will provide a, there is a lot of code available in HashiCorp is given to us if you want to deploy any services. I'll go and see how we are going to search, then I will show you, then based on that you can go, you can check later when you get a free time. So if you can go to the HTTPS registry.terraform.io site, this is the site which built by HashiCorp. So in the inside we have a lot of code available that's dependent on the provider. Okay, I'll search the, first of all, if you go to the Terraform list, you can see there is a browse module is available and browse provider is there. If you go to the, we'll go with later what is the module. First we'll talk about providers. Okay, go browse providers. If you can see, there is a lot of providers available. So provider means, so if you want to use the, if you want to deploy service into the AWS, we have to use the AWS provider. If you want to deploy service in Azure provider, we have to use the Azure provider. If you want to Google Cloud, such a way we have Kubernetes and Oracle Cloud and Alibaba Cloud. There is a lot of it there. You can see if you scroll down little, there is a bunch of providers available. So we just want to pick which provider we want to use. Okay, I'll go with see, the providers are logical abstraction of team. It's kind of API. So we are going to call by S on the provider. Okay. So understand that we just need to understand what is a provider. Okay. If I click on the AWS, if you now I'm in the AWS provider, you can see. Then after that, I just want to go and see inside. If you want to, how we'll get the code. If you want specific RDS or EC2 or VPC creation or auto scaling or IAM management or EBS volume or EFS file system or any other service. There is a bunch of service available in AWS environment. Okay, first we'll go and see how we'll get the code. Okay, if you go and see the documentation in the right hand side, if you click on here, you can see AWS Amazon provider is the impact for the many resources needed. Okay, if you scroll down below, if I come down below, so if you can see example, the Terraform is the at the moment Terraform released with 0.13 and later also available. So if you can see Terraform required provider AWS and source is the archicap.com and version is 3. See, the version is the this come how it HashiCorp is going to release version every time. I think every quarter or something they will release a version. So what is new version? So every provider has one version. So when Amazon come up with AWS come up with the new services, by the time HashiCorp will build the code for the new services, then they will come up the new version. So what are the services Amazon is going to build? The same time HashiCorp also develop a code and keep on. They are going to update the what are the changes which Amazon made on new services, they keep on updating the version as well. So when they come up with the new services, they will change the version as well. Why? Because they are updating the version from HashiCorp as well. Okay. If you can see provider, and these are all the stuff available. If you can see, if you come to the 0.12 Terraform version, you can see the provider is still same. If you scroll down to below, the all the stuff. So how we need to start the Terraform, all the documents you can see, export access key and secret key and Terraform plan and provider which region we want to use, and the profile is basically for the AWS account name, or we can use the profile by using CLI command. We can CLI AWS CLI configure -hyphen profile is equal to profile name. By the time when we enter hit, it will ask for the security key and access key. Then we can share. Then we can share with the region, but the profile name also we can give here. Okay, if we can, if I scroll down a little bit below, okay, these are all would be the similar one. Okay, if you go to the below, you can see provider ACM. ACM is the if you can see This is the code for Amazon certification. Okay, you can see these are code for AWS ACM certification. If you can bottom, you can see the how to create the particular resource certificate, resource AWS ACM certificate. You can get the logical name, any matter, it doesn't matter. The basically, the certificate ACM certification would require further to make it as a particular domain. If you want to make any service, if you deploy the services particular ELB, but within the domain, these DNS we are going to authenticate. That means we can use the certificate for the HTTPS purpose to authenticate secure certificate. Okay, so there is a way on, if you want to import the SSIC, you can import the certificate, and the same way there is a bunch of available. So basically, there is in each services we have a two. One is called resource and other one data source. I will talk about later what is data source. So let's talk about the resources. So each service inside Terraform is going to reach two services. One is for the resource, the other one is data source. First we are talking about resource. Data source in coming classes we'll talk about. Okay, what is mean by data source. Okay, if you can see, you can see auto scaling. Auto scaling means how we want to create auto scaling. And if you can see data source, each and everything, if you see all auto scaling, this is the code which is available for us. Okay, you can use, this is the code, these are the arguments. If I scroll down, if you scroll down below, these are the arguments which required for the auto scaling group. Okay, the same way you can see a lot of bunches, there's a lot of is available. We just want to need to pick up. If you go to the EC2, you can see all these codes available. We just want to need to make sure whether you want to go with resource, whether you want to go with the data source. Okay, the same way, if you can see, find out there's a bunch of available. These are all the stuff. If you can see S3, how to create S3 bucket and all the stuff. So you can see all the resources and data source available. This is the way we want to search the code. So with the Terraform, the HashiCorp is providing all of the code. We just want to need to pick the code, which code we want to use, which service we want to build, and make it integrate, make it communication between the two resources. Communication means it's not a communication. So if you create one service, how we need to attach the other service to the particular service. That's what I want to say. So this is the way we want to search the all the code. So you guys need to make sure you should know how to check. Okay, let's go back to, we talked about all the resources. Okay, if I go back to, if I go back to the browser, then we go to the, now we talked about provider. Okay, even provider also, if you go to the Azure also, we can see a lot of code available. If you go to the documentation again, okay, you can see all the stuff here, how we need to create the Azure point of view. What is meant by, there is a lot of it there, Azure also data source, and there is a bunch of service available, even Azure as well. So you can see what, which one you want to, just make sure you want to pick up that one, you can deploy services. That's it. Even how we need to start the Azure also, just to create the Azure also, same like the resource gives a new concept Azure. Actually slight difference between the AC2 AWS and Azure. So in Azure we have to create a resource group first. On the top of the resource group we want to deploy the any services. That's a kind of different one. Inside resource group only all the services, whether it could be VPC or storage account or is um, virtual machine or VNet or whatever it is. This is a provider. You can see Azure RM is the, Azure RM is the provider. Then they have a different version and features. It's a kind of a different provider. Just need to use the syntax. That's it. If I go back to the, let's go to the browser window, browser model. What is module? So module is, if you go to the module, this is basically for the AWS provider. If I click on this one to create the VPC, if I scroll down little bit below, okay, if I scroll down below, so we, types of resources are supported. See, this module is Terraform module, which creates the VPC resource in AWS. So basically, HashiCorp only developed the module for us, giving us, okay, inside the module, what are the what is, see, what is the resource which they using. So what is mean module, collection of resources is called a module. So you just need to understand that one. Inside they can see VPC they created, subnet, root table, internet gateway, network ACL, NAT gateway, VPN gateway, and all the stuff, VPC endpoint. These are all the stuff which they created actually. So each resource, collection of resources is called a module. Okay, if I go down, how we are going to, they are going to use a module like this. There's any module, you can keep it in any name. The source could be anywhere. You can keep it Git or GitLab, GitHub or Bitbucket. You can keep it anything. So these are all the variables they are going to declare as locally. So if you want to use the dev environment, you can use the dev. If you use the production environment, you can use the, these are all the stuff which you want to assign to here. Okay, If I scroll down a little bit, these are the stuff only. So would be the same. This is a module. So we'll talk about little later how we are going to create the module. Okay. So I'll come up with a few videos later this week how we are going to use the exactly real world. We are going to come how we are going to use the exactly module to build in the module. Use the same module. The source module would be used for the different environments. I'm going to keep into the mod code into the source environment somewhere, Git or GitLab or GitHub. By using calling the module, we can just build the services in different environments. I'll come back to you later. That's all from my end today. And enjoy my video. If you like the my video, please share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.